Long drive, high and deep to left, and that one is gone.
Alrighty, welcome in everyone to the Friendly Foes podcast. I am
Hello.
Yep, I'm one of your hosts, Ben. We also got Jay with us.
I'm Jay.
You bet. And this episode's a little behind. We were trying to do one last week, but I was out of town, so we missed the end of the season. So
We didn't miss much though. So
well, I mean, we missed a lot of.
I don't want to talk about.
Yeah, we missed a lot of disappointment. In case you can't tell, Cubs are out of it, and so are the Reds. How do you feel about that, Jay?
At least our end of the season wasn't your end of the season. I'm not trying to
Yeah, that's true.
bring down your team. I'm not, everyone knows how bad that was, but at least it wasn't that for the Reds.
Yeah. The Cubs. I want to say the Cubs controlled their own fate, and to be frank, they blew it. That's the easiest way to.
That's putting it lightly.
Yeah, yeah. They had a couple of extra inning games that just didn't. I can't even say didn't go their way. It's just the easiest way to put it is.
You know what we need to talk about? We need to
to
talk
talk
about
about?
Seiya Suzuki for a second.
Okay,
I need to know how you feel.
bro, dude popped off. What do you mean? How do I feel?
Oh no.
Yeah, bro, dude went
Popped off in
crazy.
some sort of way, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the rest of the crew did not. That's basically all I have to say about that. There was a tweet the other day. I think it was either today or yesterday that they're like, hey, what grade would you give Cody Bellinger's season? And I just thought, you know what? I'd probably give it a B+, which people, I guess that's not really fair, coming off the 2 seasons he had with the Dodgers before he left.
Right.
If you put that in perspective, yeah, absolutely an A+ season.
I was gonna say, man, because I'd give him at least, at worst, I'd give him an A.
Nah,
I mean,
that. So,
maybe you don't feel that way because you watch them a lot, but from an
Yeah.
outsider's perspective, that dude was a menace when he was at the plate. I'd give him an A.
the last, I'd have to go through the numbers, and the numbers probably aren't gonna give. There's probably a certain stat that will say
The numbers
differently.
lie to you, Ben. They lie.
Do they
You
lie?
know they lie.
People say
Sometimes.
people say numbers don't lie. So
Those people are dumb.
you gotta ready up there, sir. Those people are dumb. No, so watching, there were plenty of times that it was Cody time in September, and you're like, sweet, Cody Bellinger's up, and he did not come through. You know who came through more? Ian Happ, and Ian Happ had been struggling mightily in August and in July. He'd get a few hits here and there, but they weren't in any crucial spots. But
That
September,
doesn't matter when half the lineup is getting all the big hits in crucial spots.
Yeah. And then September, whenever he was in a crucial spot, he came through. There might be one or two exceptions, but you know what?
He just wasn't in a crucial spot enough.
yeah.
Oh,
And Cody Bellinger was plenty of times, and Seiya Suzuki was plenty of times, and just about every time Seiya Suzuki came through. But
Except for one fly ball.
That anomaly. That's an anomaly.
I agree with you, but man, that is like, Ben, that's gotta be the most Cubs thing I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Look. Okay.
Like, I don't
Yes.
remember what Steve Bartman was like. I mean, I was way too young for that. But that was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, it's the Cubs. Like, those are the Cubs I've heard about, like anecdotally from old people.
You know, obviously you can say, oh, that's what lost us a game. Because really it did, right? They scored 2 there. The Cubs didn't score in the 9th. Boom. It would have been the end of the inning. But then you still have, it's still the Braves who are backed into a corner. You don't think they would have scored in the 9th?
No.
No?
No.
Man, I'm skeptical.
I'm going to tell you this right now, okay? I totally believe people when they say, oh, the freaking game doesn't come down to one play, fellas. It doesn't come down to one play. And they are absolutely right about that. But in that scenario, Ben, if that play is made, the game's over. I mean, like, it's not done, but it's basically over. I don't think the Braves would have come back. No, I don't think they would have scored.
Not one, huh?
In this hypothetical situation. No. Nope. Because I think that you have to remember, like, the type of baseball that they were playing up to that point wasn't even that great. I think they had been playing losing baseball, if I remember correctly, towards like that part of September. But I think that just completely would have taken the wind out of their sails. Just like, oh, you know what, we're already in the postseason, fella.
All right.
You know, we're not gonna go up there and not try to hit. But like, if we don't get hits, if we don't score, like, it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that sort of brings me to one of the things that was pointed out to me was the Cubs have been playing playoff baseball since basically the beginning of July, since the All-Star break.
Since the trade deadline.
No, since the All-Star break. Because since the All-Star break, they've had to fight to tell the front office, no, you should not sell.
Okay. All right, yeah, that's fair.
And then they're like...
And it worked out for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. First pitch of the game. He's already going, yeah, this might be rough, fellas. Woo!
All right. Well, they came to play.
At least the atmosphere at Target Field is bopping.
It's bopping. All right. How about we not throw him a slider down the middle? So
I really believe... Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off, but I really believe that if the July and August Cubs had been playing in the postseason, they're like at least an NLCS team.
Ooh.
With how good they were playing, Ben, I don't know if you want to rationalize the season away so you just feel better about what happened, but from an outsider's perspective, a guy who loves baseball, who kind of sometimes doesn't like the Cubs, but who always respects them.
All right.
I would say that they looked scary, heading into the postseason, if that had been their team. But
yeah, that's true.
You know,
and Seiya Suzuki.
Baseball's a funny thing, I guess.
Seiya Suzuki wasn't. His September was way better than his August and July. Dude was on fire. So, like, if the July and August Cubs showed up with Seiya Suzuki, yeah, would have been insane.
Man, you mean to tell me you don't feel a little bit slighted by that play? Like, you don't feel like a little bit like sour on Seiya Suzuki? You don't feel like a little bit mad about that?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Why? Dude, there were so many other people who made the same type of plays down that last two weeks that that was our last chance basically. And then I guess we could have swept the Brewers that was really our last chance. But yeah, they had 2 more games against the Braves after that.
But don't you think the series goes a little differently if they take game 1?
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure, right? None of us do. But don't you think it probably goes a little bit differently if they had taken game 1?
Probably. But they didn't. So, I mean.
You know, I do actually feel bad for baseball because I do think that if the Cubs, when they were red hot, man, if they had gone into the postseason like that, it would have been a pleasure to watch. But that is probably like the worst collapse I've seen by a team at the end of the season that I can remember. And I haven't been watching baseball for a long time.
We just watched the Angels.
Oh, man, I don't even know if that's...
No, that...
You're right, actually. In terms of disappointment, the Angels is probably worse than the Cubs this year, which is saying something because that Cubs collapse was... Man.
It was too many close games. That's what I'm going to break it down to. Way too many close games to where we had to use our bullpen, to where they're pitching almost every other night, like the same guys, and you just get tired. So really, I guess our starting pitching fell apart, which is true. I mean, even Justin Steele, who was in the conversation for
unbreakable.
Yeah, he was in the conversation for Cy Young right along with
Yeah.
Oh man, this is gonna be a bad one. Blake Snell. There it is.
Right.
So until his last 3 starts, he fell apart. It's like, man, 3 more starts, you can just hold it together, and then it would have been like a real conversation of who's the NL Cy Young. I don't know. But
been a controversy.
Yeah, and now it's just like, it's Blake Snell, like no question.
Oh man.
So let's see. So that was our ace. Marcus Stroman had been hurt.
He's been gone for a while now, though. I feel like.
Yeah. Drew Smiley had been put in the bullpen, and they brought up Jordan Wicks, who's a rookie. Did really well in his first 2 starts. His 3rd start didn't go too well. His 4th start went great, but as rookies do, they're up and down. There's good days and bad days, right? Because you're going to be facing different teams. Some teams are stronger against lefties, or just know how to hit a rookie and know how to exploit them. So I knew he wasn't going to be like nails right out the gate for the rest of the season, but I mean, he was impressive. Like, it makes me excited for next year. So who else is there? Tyone. You know what? Tyone had probably 4 out of 5 great starts at the end of the season, so I'm not gonna like pick on him and say he was part of the problem. I think anyone will take 4 out of 5 starts being nails, with a 5th start being just like, okay, he just doesn't have it today.
Right.
A really tough one is Mark Leiter Jr. He's like our setup guy.
Yeah, you know what, man? He was. I'm just gonna say it for you. He was not good at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was hurt or what was going on,
probably.
but he didn't look himself. Oh,
yeah, unlucky. Yeah, so he probably was hurt. I don't remember if he was put. He took a week off. Like, they didn't use him for a week. But they didn't put him on any injured list either, because I don't know. They didn't really have anyone else to bring up to replace him or anything. So he really lost his splitter, which was what was getting him like swings and misses like crazy throughout the year. He just could not locate his splitter, or it just wouldn't drop enough. So that was the bummer. The highlight of the bullpen was Julian Merriweather. He was a real big question mark at the beginning of the year. Absolutely lights out the last 2 months. Most of the time he was the 7th inning guy, and then our closer got hurt, so then he became the closer that David Ross trusted. So it was really fun to watch him. He's got a crazy slider that just drops off the table, basically. It looks almost like a curveball, but it doesn't have as big of a loop. It comes in like a fastball and then just like falls down. One of those dropping sliders, basically. But yeah, it was an exciting year. Everyone's sort of convinced that Cody Bellinger's not coming back.
Why? Don't you think that, like, with how well he did in Wrigley, especially with the atmosphere for most of the year, I mean, like, don't you think he'd want to come back? I feel like he would want to come back. I'd want to come back to that.
Yeah, that's my thought too. It's like I'd want to come back, but the way he sort of talked about it, he made no promises, and I don't know if he just didn't want to give.
Oh, I mean, of course.
I don't know if he just didn't want to give like any leverage to the Cubs on trying
exactly
to do anything like that. If he's trying to get a little bit more money than out of the Cubs than he thinks he would if he was like, yeah, I really want to stay. So, I mean,
probably.
I don't know where he is in his career on what he would want to do. The Cubs really want to bring up Pete Crow Armstrong, and he plays center field. So then, I think I talked about this last time. It's like, does Cody want to play first base? Because after the ending that Seiya Suzuki had, it's like, not going to take him out. They just extended Ian Happ. So if they lock up Cody Bellinger again, it's like you got your outfield again. I don't think I don't remember what Mike Tauchman's deal is. I think he's still with us, but I don't really remember. So, I thought I got that.
Yeah, the offseason will be interesting for them. I mean, they got a couple of guys that they should try to get back. I think Cody Bellinger has to be priority number one. I mean, after that season, he might inflate his like value a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're the Cubs, I mean, even if it ends poorly, like you have to do what you have to do in that situation, you know?
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical on like giving anyone like a 5-year deal. The expectations just sort of are a lot higher, right? And it's like,
sure.
Oh, come on. Anyway, so given it was a 1-year deal, and after you play different, I feel like when you only got 1 year, and it's a prove it year, right?
Think so?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think the motivation might be different, but I don't. You know, I mean, maybe he's a little more locked in. I don't know.
Nah. If you just look at his 2-strike approach compared to all of his years as a Dodger, is completely different. So that's, I'm pretty sure that is, I need to get to the ball.
Isn't that a good sign then? If his approach has changed, I mean, Cody, I think Cody's going to be looking for a multi-year deal. Obviously, he's going to be
Yeah,
looking for a
yeah,
multi-year
obviously.
deal, but I think he's going to try to get a contract like Trey Turner or Bryce Harper, where they're just in one spot for like forever, and then he's just getting a boatload of money. I don't think he's worth that, but I think that that's like the ideal contract, right? So I would see him trying to choke the Cubs out for that. I don't know how many other teams would give him that though. So maybe the Cubs can use that to their advantage and like you said, not sign him for like a long time. Maybe I don't know, where's your sweet spot? Like 2 to 3 years? Is that your sweet spot?
5 would be max. Probably
About
3 or
4.
4.
4 sounds
3
good.
or 4.
4 sounds good. Yeah, it'll be fun to see. I mean, someone's gonna pay him. You know, whether it's the Cubs
Yeah.
or not, I guess we'll see. But someone is gonna give Cody Bellinger a lot of money.
Yeah. And I mean, he is very good. He's not the best, but he is very good.
Well, if he's playing like how he was in July and August, that's pretty tough to beat there.
Ronald Acuna Jr. did. Mookie Betts did.
Oh, sure.
Cody Bellinger not even in question for MVP.
Tough to beat, not impossible.
Get out of here. Are you kidding me?
I got to get your thoughts on the wild card round. Since we're in Target Field, you know, in a simulation, albeit. But since we're in Target Field, you got to tell me what you thought of that series. What do you think of the Twins?
You know what? I texted you the other day. Yohan Duran pitching 102 or something like that to a 98 splitter is insane. So if they get ahead and he comes in, I think that's lights out, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know how you would like. How would you even hit that? Like,
I feel like
that's impossible.
I feel like that's just a guessing game. So, I will say of the AL, I think the Blue Jays were the like least were the weakest link, I'd say.
The Blue Jays, you think?
Yeah, it was
I
probably
feel like
between,
a lot of people thought it was the Twins, don't you? A lot of people, I feel like, thought it was the Twins.
probably.
You know, I mean, the Twins coming in with like not that good of a record. I mean, when you compare, did they even finish with more wins than the Mariners? I'm checking right now. I really should know this.
They
look it up.
didn't. Twins were 87, Mariners were 88.
So you're telling me 7th best record in the American League. You have everyone every time this happens in any sports league, especially NFL and MLB. Those are the ones I follow, so I'm familiar with those the most. There's always one division in the league that just seems to be a little bit weaker than everyone else. And every time the division winner comes out of that into the postseason, everyone's kicking and screaming about how they get home field advantage, how it's not deserving, it's not fair. But I mean, divisions exist for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the Twins don't deserve a home game. I don't really care about that too much, though. I think that it's slightly overrated in the playoffs. But I just feel like if you win your division, you should be rewarded. And dude, the Twins, they looked really good. They didn't look like they had the 7th best record in the American League. So, you know, I know a lot of people were upset that they made the postseason. Everyone's like, oh, it should just be like the freaking 4 best, 6 best teams, whatever. But I mean, safe to say they proved everyone wrong. They looked pretty dominant in some of their in moments.
I mean,
in moments they looked pretty dominant, and their crowd was live, bro.
That's true. Way more live than some
The
team
energy
down
in that
south.
place Wow.
My dad and I were talking earlier in the year, and he didn't know that Sonny Gray was on the Twins and that he got traded. And
Oh, no.
he was so bad at the Reds. He was like, "How on earth are they expecting to win any postseason games without Sonny Gray?" And I was like, "Well, I'll be honest, Dad. Right now, that's sort of the problem. Their starting pitching sucks."
They're just not like expecting to win hardly any games at the beginning of the year, let alone
Yeah,
postseason. I
yeah,
don't think
that's
anyone
true.
was anticipating that we'd be fighting for that.
Yeah. Yep. Rangers Rays. You surprised that the Rangers dominated the Rays?
I got a lot to say about that, to be honest. I first off want to state how disappointed I am in overall Rays fandom. I know a lot of people can't make those games for legitimate reasons. Obviously, me living in Idaho, if the Reds played, there's no freaking way I could make one of those games, right? In the playoffs. But I just feel like, when I was living around Cincinnati, I mean, I lived like maybe 30, 35 minutes away with light traffic from the city.
Yeah.
I would have made that drive. I would have made the time to go see that game. I don't think that that's like asking a whole lot, man.
Ah,
Even if I had lived in like Columbus or Louisville, I still would have gone to that game. You know what I mean? That's not something that you see very often, at least for the franchise I like, postseason
yeah.
games. So maybe Rays fans feel a little bit different. Oh, it's just the wild card round. We'll show up more for like the DS or you know the NLC or ALCS, whatever it is.
Right.
But how disappointing if you're a player from the Rays. You get excited, the tarps are coming off the top deck, and you just look out into the crowd and there's just empty seats everywhere. I mean, some of the pictures are embarrassing.
Yeah.
I just, with 42K capacity in that stadium, a closed roof dome, that place should have been disturbingly loud. And, people have pointed this out too. The Twins played at the same time in terms of like, their respective time zone as the Rays played. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse for that little amount of people showing up to a playoff game. I just feel like it's not a good baseball atmosphere, and I feel bad for the fans that did make it and do have a strong passion for the Rays, because it's just kind of like everyone just kind of dunks on the whole fan base, and they have diehards there. I know they do. 19,000 is, I mean, if you've ever seen 19,000 of anything, that's a lot of freaking things, right? But that's not enough. It's not enough to energize
So,
your team. It's not enough to get you excited
so
to
what
to
you're
go out.
saying is the lack of people showing up is why the Rays lost.
No, but I honestly think it contributes. Okay? If you
Uh,
I know I said earlier that home field advantage is slightly overrated, but I didn't say completely overrated. Because when your fans
I
get
can only
going,
think of one point in the game for the first game when the Rangers won 4-0 that the Rays had like had a chance of like it was looking a little iffy for the pitcher, the Rangers pitcher. And I feel like that's pretty much the only time that the crowd really matters, is when it's sort of high leverage situations.
okay, that's fair.
I don't think they got into many of those. So
No, the bats were really cold.
yeah. So
The
second
bats were
game was
insanely
7-1. It's like I just don't think. And I mean, they were pretty banged up. They didn't have Shane McClanahan. Wander Franco's situation kind of crazy, so didn't have him. They did have.
Crazy is an understatement.
Yeah. Whatever. I'm not talking about that.
I know.
That's
I don't want
not
to go
our
into it.
not our ballpark, not our
No.
division, not our league.
No.
I guess it's kind of the league anyway. So there was a couple other things, like people that I seen that were either injured or playing with injury type of stuff. So the Rays definitely weren't 100%. But at this point, I don't know who is. I guess maybe
No one.
maybe the Braves. The Braves are probably 100%.
Well, the Braves 80% is everyone else's 100% probably. So
You're not
yeah,
wrong.
I mean that's
actually,
it's their depth that makes them so dangerous.
I did see a crazy stat for Sean Murphy. Sean Murphy had a crazy first 45 games, a bad 100 games, and then the last month of the season he was absolutely atrocious at the plate. So if he comes through in the postseason, it'll be super shocking because the past 4 months have been just abysmal from their catcher. But that doesn't matter. You got 8 other guys that can hit. So.
And I mean, is Travis d'Arnaud still healthy? Is he still playing?
Last I saw.
I mean, he had a decent year. Last time I heard, at least. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Like you said, there are 8 other guys in the lineup, and sure, maybe Sean Murphy comes up at a crucial spot, but with the small sample size that the playoffs are, I don't really put a whole lot of stock into, oh, this guy had a terrible last month or whatever. Well, he really only needs to be good for.
Yeah, that's what Carlos Correa, Carlos Correa said. He's like, doesn't matter. Season's over. Starts over. It's playoff time.
Amen. I agree. Man, that whole AL West race was freaking wild, man. But yeah, I don't. In going back to the Rays and Rangers, the Rangers played out of their minds, and their pitching staff deserves all the credit in the world for shutting down the Rays. But yeah, I just feel like the Rays. It didn't feel like I was watching the Rays when I was watching them play. I actually kind of said to my wife, I said, "Wow, it looks like it's as hard for them to score runs right now as it was for the Reds during the last month and a half of the season."
Yeah.
And that's for those of you who don't know, that's pretty difficult.
It's pretty difficult.
Pretty difficult.
So I was just gonna move on. We got more games, more series to talk about.
Yeah, let's go.
Arizona. Oh, thank goodness. Joey Gallo.
We finally get one.
Man, you got
I wasn't even barreled in the slightest. I barely had that in the PCI.
It's Joey Gallo, man. It's Joey Gallo. So Arizona Diamondbacks versus Milwaukee Brewers.
I picked the Brewers. I gotta say this first. I picked the Brewers to have a pretty deep postseason run. I don't know if you filled out one of those brackets. I always do. It's fun. I did, because the Brewers pitching is really freaking good, and for as good as their starting pitching is, their bullpen's arguably even better.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear so much, man. It just gets in my head sometimes. People talking about, oh, pitching is everything in the postseason. And I know that those people aren't off base with that, but I think I bought in a little bit too much to that message, because in order to win a baseball game, yeah, the other team probably shouldn't score a lot of runs, but you also have to score some runs.
Yeah.
And I think the Brewers suffered from what they were suffering from all year.
Having a boring team?
What do you mean, man? Bryce Terang, you don't like him?
Bro,
he's not entertaining for you?
Was so boring to watch.
Willie Adames is boring, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a lot of big personalities on the team.
Contreras, boring. Yeah, just it's probably I said this earlier. that the downfall of the Cubs was way too many close games. And that was almost the opposite for Milwaukee. Like, they were either winning by a lot or like a comfortable amount, or losing by a lot or a comfortable amount. I'd have to look at it, and I'll probably put something up on screen to say if I'm totally wrong or not. But I'm pretty sure the Cubs had more save opportunities. I'm not even going to put it that way. I think the Cubs had more 1 to 2 run games than the Brewers did. And that's in my mind what makes it an exciting game. Like, if you get to the 9th inning and it's 9-5, that's not exactly exciting to be like, it's probably over. But when it's 4-6, 5-6 in the 9th inning, you've had a good amount of hits, a good amount of runs. I guess that's something else to think about, is like, how many high-scoring games did the Brewers have? Because their pitching was so good. It's like, cool, we won by getting 3 runs in 1 inning. That's such a boring game to watch. Man.
Boring with a capital B.
Yep. And then it was boring to watch them in the postseason.
It was. Yeah.
It was awesome to see the Diamondbacks do well, so that wasn't boring.
Diamondbacks did great, man. Diamondbacks did great. I'm proud of them. Good for them. Go young teams that no one expected to be good this year.
Hey, man.
I got a
Evan
soft spot in my
Longoria
heart.
definitely showed up. Come on now.
Bro, Evan Longoria was a big part of that series. Definitely helped lead the team to the series victory for sure. I didn't think you should catch that at all, but all right. So
who's out in center? Is that Sammy? Or is that
I don't
Acuna?
know. That is that.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not gonna guess and then get roasted, so I'll just keep it to
Because
myself.
we don't know our own team.
When you do this, man, it's just a little bit mindless, you know. All right, who else we got? Wild card round.
Phillies, Marlins.
I think the Marlins were just not ready. I don't know how. Like, they just weren't ready for that. I don't think anyone would have been, to be honest. Could you imagine if the Milwaukee Brewers, as flat as they came out, had to play the Philadelphia Phillies in Philadelphia for that first round? They would have been spanked. Spanked, Ben.
The Phillies in the playoffs is just a different animal.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely different.
So that's why I'm actually pretty excited for the next round of Braves Phillies, because obviously divisional matchup, but also like Phillies in the playoffs are just different.
Big time. There's just an energy there in that stadium that's just it's unreal, man.
I'm pretty sure the Phillies get their top guys again too. The way that the wild card ended so quickly. Because they were talking about that for the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks get their top guys in Merrill, Kelly, and Zach Gallen.
Yeah.
So
they'll need them. If the D-backs want to make it through past the Dodgers, they're gonna need them.
Yeah.
Because that offense for the Dodgers, they can be a little relentless.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about the Dodgers pitching though.
Everyone is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not convinced by their pitching, but I also think that the Diamondbacks played up to what their normal standard of baseball is, which is great for the playoffs. You know, I'm not saying that they can't do it another 3 games and take some dubs, but I will say it'll be hard. And I also think that there's a little bit of that, just like, I think there's something that happens when you play against teams from your division in the playoffs. They just feel like they're a little bit more scrappy than other playoff series. You know what I mean? Like, the rivalry that you can feel between the entire, like, the National League DS is going to be I expect those games to be very passionate between the Braves and the Phillies, NL East, and then the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. Those games are going to be. That's must-see TV, man. That is must-see TV.
Yeah,
I know college football is tomorrow, but I will not be watching college football tomorrow.
I will be at work, so I will be trying to watch as much baseball as I can.
I'll keep you updated. I'll
Alright.
send you texts. I'll let you know how Ohio State is doing too. I know that you love that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure they're down this year, right? They're not doing great. But I don't remember.
OSU?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The offense is kind of weird. We'll just leave it at that. The offense is weird.
All right. So, did we miss a playoff game? I think that was all of the wild cards, right? There's 4 of them. So,
We talked about Diamondbacks Brewers. We talked about Rangers Rays. Kind of brushed over Phillies and Marlins. But like I said, I don't really have much else to say about that series other than that the Marlins got their doors blown off. And I don't blame them. You know, I don't. It's not something you would like to see if you're a fan of them, but honestly, from an outsider's perspective, you know, someone coming at it from a neutral standpoint, I think that it was good they got in the postseason, and you got to regroup for next year. So good season, Marlins.
yeah.
I think the National League is slightly scared of you now, but
They're
just
taking
didn't- you weren't prepared.
they're
You weren't
taking
prepared for
notice. Which makes me feel like maybe the Cubs and Reds weren't exactly ready for it the way that they ended the season.
No,
So
nope. Seeing the Marlins series against the Phillies convinced me 100% that I don't think I wanted the Reds to make the playoffs this year, man, because if they had, it would have looked like that, but way worse.
I told you
That would have been just depressing.
I think with a week left, I told you, man, I would rather face Milwaukee right now than face the Phillies. I was like, I'd rather get the last wild card than the second to last one because
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the Phillies are much better than Milwaukee. And I mean, not to say that it didn't prove it, but
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember, too, the Phillies didn't exactly start the year in the best way possible. I know they dropped, like, they were winless for, like, a couple of games. But the beginning of their season just wasn't very impressive. So for them to end how they did, that took something. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
We also already talked about. Oh no.
What have you done?
Oh. Everything. Oh, I should have dove for that. Well, actually, they should have slid, but I don't know if you hit the dive button for that or not. Anyway, it's not important. We'll never win a game anyway on this.
Yeah.
So
Wait, what the heck? He was supposed to come in.
I feel like we got to do some predictions for the DS,
Yeah.
the Nintendo DS.
All right, Rangers,
think-
Orioles.
Yeah, Rangers, Orioles. I want to start with this one. Man, it's hard to just like not get lost in the hype from the wild card teams because you just saw them play, and the Rangers looked so good, but they're so streaky, and it makes me like cautious of picking them. My heart really would be fine with either team making it through because I think that both franchises are deserving. But if the Rangers pitching,
right?
yeah, if the Rangers pitching can hold up the Orioles like they held up the Rays, they're a shoo-in to make it to the CS. Like, it's not even like the games wouldn't even be close. It'd probably feel something like the Rays and Rangers, to be honest. Not that that's like shocking anymore, but
Yeah. I mean,
go ahead.
Everyone's liking the Orioles. The Orioles offense.
I love their offense.
You know this guy's great speed is in the back of that pitcher's mind.
Man,
If he can
just
get
let me
on,
go to
it's
the
gonna give
bullpen.
him
Thank
one
you.
more thing he's got to think about.
I love their offense, Ben, but I gotta be real with you. We know how important a closer is in close games,
Yeah, that was
and
my.
they lost theirs.
Yeah, that was my my caveat. I guess it's like, yeah, but you just lost the most dominant closer of the year. And now the guy is. Well, I guess the guy's on the Twins now. God darn. That still blows my mind. What he did.
There is no
I
way
don't
like
even
an
know if
average
that's their
Joe is
closer
ever
or not.
touching that ball.
Anyway. Yeah, I think this one's a toss-up. I'm probably gonna go with the Orioles to win that one.
I think I gotta go O's too. They have a lot of talent. It's hard to pick against. Not to like play both sides of the fence here, but I really wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers make it. And I think if the Rangers win,
I was gonna say, you don't think
it'll
the
be in
Rangers
like 3
have
or 4
talent?
games.
How dare you?
Bro, I know the Rangers have talent to spare, bro. I mean, Jonah Heim, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, the list goes on and on. They got some ballers. So, if they play like how they played in the wild card, then the O's have no shot.
I'm just gonna say
They have no shot.
how ridiculous that was. How is that not gone? Yeah, I barely missed a changeup low. That's ridiculous. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I think probably the biggest toss-up of the ones that we have to cover. So we'll move on to Twins Astros.
Yeah.
It's hard not to go against the Astros, right?
It is hard not to go against the Astros. Does anyone want to see them in the ALCS again besides Astros fans?
I don't know.
The only reason why I would want to see it is if the Rangers made it. That way we'd have a Texas ALCS because those fan bases would be charged up for that.
Oh yeah.
But it's got to be the Stros, right? It's got to be the Stros.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
you got to
gonna
go with the Stros.
I'm gonna go Astros in 5 though.
You really think the Twins are going to give them that big of a challenge?
Yeah. I think the Twins win Game 2 in 3.
Wow. So you think they
Quite
steal
the-
a game in Houston?
I do. I think
Man.
Sonny Gray's the guy that's gonna steal the game. Like he basically stole the game from the Blue Jays by picking off Guerrero.
Vladdy?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude. That was so bad.
What a great throw.
That was so bad.
That's all. I mean, there's good throws, and then there's great throws. It wasn't exactly
That
like...
was a great throw.
It wasn't a perfect throw, but it was a great throw.
Indeed, man. Indeed it was. I feel like I could see Sonny choking out a win against... I could see him grinding that one out, getting a win against the Stros. I just feel like playoff Astros just scare me. I think we're all just conditioned mentally at this point to fear the Astros in the playoffs. So maybe that's what's happening, and I'm not being like completely objective, and I'm just buying into that.
Right.
But man, it's so hard to go against them. I feel like, do the Twins really match up, Ben? Do they really match up? Let's not forget. Let's not just completely throw out the Carlos Correa factor here. Like, can you imagine Carlos Correa having a big playoff moment in that stadium in Houston and the entire fan base just being, like, hushed?
I get.
That
you
could
think
do
it'd be-
something.
Do you think they'd be hushed?
Yeah, if he makes, and he won't, but if he makes a play like that one where he came all the way from second base and threw a freaking a dot to home plate to get a runner out.
Right.
If there's a moment like that, yeah, I think the entire stadium would be pretty quiet.
Well, one thing about Chris Sale is he's got such a devastating slider, and it doesn't matter.
But at least they got their guy Jeremy Pena. Dude's freaking jacked. Have you seen pictures of that guy's arms, man? That dude is
Nah.
jacked. He's a big guy. But my official pick for this would be the Stros. Stros, and I'll say 4.
In 4, yeah. I'm also gonna go with the Astros. Yeah. I think.
We gotta save the. Go ahead.
Nah, there was no thought. I was thinking. I didn't think.
We gotta save the Braves and Phillies for last. I feel like.
All right.
So.
Well, Dodgers, Diamondbacks. I'm going Diamondbacks, man.
Nah, you're riding the hype wave there, brother. I'm going Dodgers all the way.
I'm going Diamondbacks.
You're gonna pick the Snakes
Bro,
over the D-backs. Do
They're
you
the
have
same.
any
They're
idea
the same. You said
how
the
mentally
Snakes over-
scarred that fan base is
I don't care about
from
the fan
the
base.
from the Dodgers?
I don't care about the fan base. I've been watching.
I
them
know you don't
for
care about the
2
fan base.
weeks. I guess 3 now. And I, going into the last week this season, I texted my friend and said, "Dude, I'm pretty sure the Diamondbacks could." Like, I knew the Diamondbacks were gonna be in the playoffs, and then yesterday, or not yesterday, the day I saw them win, the wild card, I texted one of my friends and said, "Dude, I can totally see them being the ones that represent the NL."
But bro, they weren't even like good at the end of the season.
What do you mean they weren't good?
I mean, they lost a lot at the end of the season.
So
Like
did-
last week and a half of the season, they lost a lot.
Nah.
And then they just they had a really good series against the Brewers. Vintage D-backs, vintage rally backs, right? As their fan base calls them. But, do we,
you can.
are we
run.
like fully expecting to see the rally backs like show out for the playoffs?
Yeah.
I mean, in full fashion against the Dodgers, bro. If they do that, then this team,
100%.
they are 100% legit. If they do that,
Who do you think is going to shut them out pitching wise?
no one. I don't think anyone's gonna shut them out pitching wise. This is gonna be a run.
I don't know. It's gonna be close, but
Oh, he didn't go.
why did? That was probably me. Anyway, my bad. I think he was out anyway. That was.
Oh my.
There we go.
gosh.
We're good. We're
You
good.
are so freaking
Well,
lucky.
absolutely. Anyway, yeah.
You asked me who I think pitching wise is gonna shut them out. No one.
Yeah.
You know who I think is gonna shut them out? Freaking Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. That's who I think is gonna shut them out. I think the Dodgers are gonna win and win big with their bats.
Nah.
Man, it's still really hard to score sometimes in baseball, regardless of who you're facing on the mound. So you throw in the playoff factor in there too, man. I don't know. Sure, could the Diamondbacks rally and like rattle off like 10 runs in a game? I'm sure they can, but it's a tall order. It's a tall order.
I'll give you that it's not gonna be a sweep, and I might even go 5 games. But I'm still
Oh man.
I'm still going. I keep hitting the wrong button.
out of every series that we've picked so far, I don't mean to be putting down the Diamondbacks. Like I said, I have a soft spot in my heart for those young, scrappy teams. But Ben, the only way the Diamondbacks win this series is if they just if they create complete and utter chaos.
I
I'm
can't
talking on the
believe
base paths,
I can't
at the
believe
plate.
you are putting down the Diamondbacks pitching right now.
Bro, I'm not putting them down, Ben, but let's not just freaking sniff at let's not just scoff at Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Max Muncy and all these guys.
I am.
JD Martinez, I'm not going to just sit here and pretend like those guys can't do anything. Will Smith, I mean this is a really strong lineup, man.
I am.
And how many times can Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly, honestly, Ben, before this year, were those guys household names?
Zach
Are they
Gallen
household
was
names even
definitely
right
a
now?
household name. Yeah.
Merrill Kelly was?
Any Fox Sports Cy Young thing, graphic that they've put up the past 3 weeks has had Zach Gallen in the question for Cy Young. Do I think that's absurd?
And he's been great.
Yes.
He's been great. But it's one game. Maybe he shuts him down, but maybe he doesn't. We'll see, man. We'll see. But I think out of all the series that we picked, I feel the most confident about this one, which means I'm probably gonna be wrong. But I gotta go with the Dodgers, and I'm gonna go Dodgers in 3. I think it's gonna be a clean sweep.
No. You are
All right.
You are absolutely hysterical.
Am I off my rocker right now?
Yeah, off your rocker.
I'm about to get clippy clipped up.
I don't know, but I don't think we have enough people watching for that.
Bro, what are you talking about? Yeah, we do. We got Johan Duran on the mound closing the game for us. Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod.
We'll see. Braves and Phillies. We got to do it before it goes away.
Yep.
My manager at my job, huge Braves fan. Huge Braves fan.
All right.
He told me the first time he went to Turner Field, it was like a spiritual experience for him. The dude loves the Braves, and he is scared poopless of the Phillies. He hates the fact that they have to play the Phillies.
All right.
I think the Phillies are particularly scary because of their explosive offense, but no one wants to play in Philadelphia in the playoffs. Sure, people probably don't want to play at Truist either, but like you said earlier, man, the Phillies in the postseason, they're just a different animal. The clutch factor that they have, it's immeasurably high.
Yeah. Just about all of their guys, right? I think, I don't know, the most clutch guy on the Braves is definitely Matt Olson.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He's so good, but I can make a case he's not even the best baseball player on their team.
The best baseball player? Yeah, probably not. But the most explosive bat? I think so.
More than Acuna?
Yeah, he had way more home runs than Acuna. Oh my goodness, why? I love 99s, man.
Big time over there. You know what? I'm not. This is a conversation for a different time. I disagree with you respectfully. I think that Acuna is more explosive, just because I think he does a little bit more with his bat, and he especially does more on the base paths that just make him a better offensive player, in my opinion. But I mean, you look at this Braves lineup, 1 through 9, and you look at the bench too, man, and it's just, it is insane. It is insane that this is a real baseball team. I look forward to seeing how they show up against the Phillies because I do think they're going to show up. And you know Philadelphia is going to show up too. I'm looking for like Clash of the Titans here. I expect this to feel almost like a World Series or like an NLCS. Like that's the kind of like passion I'm looking for from this series. Like guys are going to be fired up.
Now he can't squeeze it behind the plate. Well
Oh
done.
boy, we got a game here, man. You're making me nervous.
I know. Don't be nervous.
Oh man.
Don't be nervous. Oh no.
What is going on?
Two.
The game. I was throwing, and he just stood there. I don't get what just happened there. But it was an out. What the heck? Gotta love the game. Yeah, I agree with you that that one is probably going to be the most World Series like without being a World Series. If the Rangers and the Astros make it to the ALCS, that one might also be like an insane one that feels very similar to a World Series. But yeah, the fact that we're getting it in the divisional round, I think everyone's going to be like, oh, I wish we had 7 games of this instead of just 5.
Oh yeah.
Because you think they're going 5? Or you think they're going 4? I could see them going 4. But I think it'd be a tough 4.
I want them to go 5 so bad. I want them to go 5 so bad.
If we're playing conspiracy, MLB wants them to go 5.
Swing and a miss, and he was fooled. 2 down. Go ahead, run at scoring position.
Put on the tinfoil hat for it, man.
Yeah.
I'm all there. I'm with you. I'll put on Ben. You know me. I'll put on the tinfoil hat in a minute. in a minute. I'll go make one right now. There's some tinfoil in the kitchen.
No.
I'll go put it on right now.
No.
The MLB wants it to go to 5 games, and so do I.
It's in the
So
drawer
do I.
already. What do you mean? Go make it.
Welcome back. And now it's Joey.
You're right, man. I got one right here next to me, right next to the TV.
Certainly one of the things in his head is trying to get the runner over.
All right, Joey Gallo, another nuke. Actually, who do you think they're gonna bring in?
They're really looking at doing damage. Slugging is the
Emmanuel
name.
Clase. All right.
I've said all I need to say about the postseason at this point, man. It's time for us to lock in. Here we go.
Lock in and win.
Lock in.
Well, that's really the money spot.
98
Down
cutters,
the
kind
way.
of
If
gross.
you can locate that consistently, it's going to be real tough for guys to
Like-
square that up. That's what you love to see relievers do coming out of that bullpen.
Okay.
I gotta remember I'm on the base paths.
Swing and a miss.
It's got to be quick stuff here. It's got to be quick stuff.
Fastball by a guy like that, I imagine it's got to feel incredible.
And I can't catch up. I can't catch up. You want to know why I can't catch up? Because this game makes it impossible.
That looks like
Me exactly with what just happened right there.
That's
Joey
it.
Gallo's reaction is my reaction. What are you supposed to do when you can't humanly react to those pitches? It's impossible. It's impossible, bro. These freaking dudes who play MLB The Show like as their job, sure, they can react to it because they see it every freaking day for hours. But a Joe Schmo such as myself, no, I got no shot at hitting that.
Eduardo Escobar. Big spot for him here. First pitch, and he
Should I steal third here? Should I try?
no.
Do you really think he's?
outside.
I don't think he's expecting it, man.
Well, these 2-0 counts, Boo, they're just not what they used to be. And we sound like
Wow.
those guys. Well,
Big
it's
league
that
takes.
ultimate
Bro.
Big league takes.
I'm just
game
lost.
you expect to see this type
That's
of
it.
approach.
Oh,
I'm just lost. That's all.
I'm going.
Winning run on second base.
Oh man.
And now 3-2.
There, that was a ball, and I had it.
Oh man.
Second.
I'm so annoyed. No.
Misses, struck him out. The high heat too much on that one. Here's the catcher, Yasmani Grandal.
All right.
This is the most disappointing 10th inning ever.
That one's
No.
an arrow and one.
Dude, that looks like that cutter has so much break.
The Cubs' 10th inning against the Brewers was pretty disappointing.
Not quite ready to hit. First 2 pitches by him for a couple of strikes.
Way inside.
You're still third here.
He wanted that
I'm
fastball
trying,
high
and it's
and
not
tight,
letting me.
looking for a strikeout. Just didn't locate it very well.
That is such a bad break, man. That was so bad.
Tag, save. Grandal's throw not
And he
in
still
time.
made it. All right.
He wasn't expecting it. I told you. He wasn't looking for it.
That was, man, he's just pitching way too fast for
Foul ball left
anything to
side,
actually
you'll see
register.
another.
You can't even like see it, to be honest. It's so hard to pick up.
Oh, there we go. We won! We won! Dang. It only
It's
took
fine.
4
The Reds
episodes.
are winning the World Series next year. Flip it up.
2024.
The Reds are winning.
The Cubs are
2024
winning.
Reds World Series. No.
2024 Cubs. Cubs versus Reds in the World Series.
3-2 the final score. A 1-run extra inning win.
Expansion's happening this year in the offseason. All the teams are getting made. The
No.
Cubs are switching to the AL.
No. The White Sox and Cubs are just switching. They were just
I'm down for that switch. Bring him. Please bring him.
bring them on.
I don't know what people's expectations are going to be of the Reds, but I'm just going to say this. If they're lofty, they need to put those into perspective a little bit because I think the Reds played up for most of this year. I'll just going to put it out there.
Yep. Let's see. I think we're good. We won. We got through the entire the predictions. We were sad about our teams losing, and some teams just choking. Next time, let's see. Next time, most likely gonna be heading into the championship series. So
I think so. You know, who knows? Maybe we'll throw one up before then. Maybe we'll get a little bit like mid-reaction division series going on, but
yep.
most likely probably going to be championship series.
Yeah, but before it starts.
It'll be good, man.
So,
Yeah.
well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We will catch you next time.